Wine lovers and makers abound here in Grant County. We thought we'd share this behind-the-scenes look at how California winemakers are using technology to perfect their product. Spencer Graham has the story as reported by the Associated Press.
Winemakers in California's Napa Valley can hardly escape the technological culture that surrounds them. At Palma's Winery, a family-run operation in Napa, winemakers use their high-tech monitoring system to gain full control over the winemaking process. CEO of Palma's Winery, Florencia Palmas, says many parts of the winemaking process are now checked using technology.
We have automatic data collection in the vineyard to help analyze both the sugar levels and the hydration levels of the plants themselves. And then in the winery, we have automatic sensors for temperature and bricks in the fermenters to help us think about where, what direction the fermentation should go real time.
Palmas says that she can check details remotely on either a desktop computer or a tablet.
Rather than spending a few hours a day collecting data, you can actually come straight in, look at wines, taste wines, think about them, and see the information. So more of your time is spent in the creative art of winemaking rather than in just sort of the rote work of winemaking.
Professional winemakers can bring their grapes to Juicebox Winery in Napa, California to produce their own labels using the tanks on site. Monitors on each tank deliver data to a system called TankNet, which helps Juicebox production manager Garrett Martin manage the temperature and sugar levels of each tank according to client requests.
So I have a set point of 28 that you can see right here. So the tank is trying to achieve that temperature, and currently it's at 34.7 degrees and it's actively cooling.
TankNet also has an iPhone app that allows Martin to check data when he is away from the tank room and his computer. He says it helps him meet client demands.
Winemaking is, at the same time that it's a very science-based and sort of mechanical process, there's also a great deal of artistry that goes into it. Something as subjective as taste. It's really up to the individual winemaker, the individual artist at that point, what they want their end product to be like, and to try to do things that affect change to get to that place.
Most wines go through fermentation in a tank, and they are transferred to barrels for aging in a cool room. In spite of all the control winemakers have over the process through Juicebox's machinery and software, Drew Huffing of Tuck Beckstoffer's Wines comes in every day to taste how each tank is coming along.
I think much more of it has to do with tasting, with knowing what I want, with how fruit and then wine actually tastes. And so, like, for instance, I love this place because I do have great control over these really small details using the technologies they have, but it's in doing that I can really hopefully coax out the flavors and essences that I want of the wine.
Robert Smiley from University of California, Davis is an expert in the business of winemaking. He says technology is the only addition to the winemaking process.
The wine industry is more than 5,000 years old, and one thing that's interesting is how little it's changed. You pick the grapes, you crush the grapes, you put them in a fermenter, you ferment the grapes, the sugar converts to alcohol, and then you put it in a container. So you have to monitor all that. But the basic process is the same as they were doing 5,000 years ago. What's changed is the chemistry and the monitoring and the precision with which you make wine.
And finally, technology is also allowing two Baltimore businessmen to capitalize on algae to make a green energy out of fossil fuels. Take a look.
Two Baltimore-based entrepreneurs have started a pilot project to test the green credentials of algae. The algae in this tube could help clean up fossil fuels and also offer a basic food supply for the world. Greenhouse gases can be consumed by the algae, which is found in Chesapeake Bay.
We can take the flue gas, the exhaust gas, from the burning of any fossil fuel and basically clean that fossil fuel up, clean that up.
Their idea is to take a billion-year-old plant, some 21st century technology, and make a clean energy source out of fossil fuels. The pair sought help from researchers at the University of Maryland. They isolated a strain of algae that can consume CO2 as well as produce a high level of lipids. The natural oils can be refined to produce biogasoline and biodiesel. High-Tech Bio VP Jack French explains the algae is flooded with pink light.
And these particular cultures are grown up and are thick and are ready to be transferred to the larger tanks right now.
The 20-foot high tanks are transparent bioreactors made of mylar, like the High-Tech sailcloth. Pumped into each bioreactor is algae food, methane exhaust gas from a wastewater treatment plant. With special LED lighting systems, the bioreactors operate 24/7, and algae growth is not dependent on sunlight.
By the time this exhaust gas gets to the top of our 20-foot tank, it's been all the CO2 and nitrous oxides and so on have been absorbed and used for growth by the algae.
The only thing left is pure oxygen that's given off at the top of the tank and 18 pounds of algae slurry at the bottom, which is harvested from the bioreactor every 4 days. From this slurry comes biodiesel, biogasoline, and other products.
Our algae is extremely high valuable. It can be used for pharmaceutical skin conditioning, used for thickening cosmetics and paints. It can be used for producing bioplastics. It can be used for additive foods for nutraceuticals and food supplements for hungry people around the world.
The entrepreneurs are fielding interest from several companies that see the pilot project as the basis for future clean technologies.
And that's going to do it for us here at iFiber One News. For breaking news over the weekend, be sure to visit iFiber1.com or go ahead and like us on Facebook. Have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you soon.